Hey guys, what's going on? It's Matty-O, and I've got another video for y'all today. This video is aimed squarely at the novice. I'm going to be talking about how to plug a tire. This video is going to assume a couple things. First, it's going to assume you know how to safely use a jack and jack stands to lift your car up. It's going to also assume you know how to remove the wheel and tire from the car. So this video doesn't cover those things. Be sure you fully understand how to work on your vehicle safely. So once you've got your tire off the vehicle, the next step is going to be to identify where the puncture is located on the tire. I would start by simply rotating the tire at a relaxed speed and just kind of use your eyes. Now in my case, this puncture is pretty obvious. It looks like there's a nail or a piece of wire that got stuck in there. This is going to be the type of hole that is pluggable. In this case, it's pretty close to the sidewall. I think most people would tell you it's probably not a good idea to plug that. However, I'm broke as a joke, and a plug is exactly what I'm going to use to fix this. You will need to assess your situation and decide if it's going to be safe to plug the tire or not. If you're unsure, you're going to need to ask a professional. However, typically puncture damage like this, we're talking nails, we're talking screws of small diameter, I would say less than 1/8 of an inch or so, should generally be something you could put a plug in. In my experience, I've used tire plugs for the rest of the life of the tire, and I have not had any issues with failure, etc. I think it's a very cost-effective way to fix a small issue with the tire without having to dismount the tire from the wheel and do a patch. Of course, that's probably a little bit better repair in all honesty, but for the average person with limited tire tools and whatnot, I would say this is the most cost-effective way to fix these little stupid puncture injuries to your tire. So in this case, pretty easy to locate. Now, if I was unsure of where the nail or screw is and I'm having a hard time finding it, there is a trick you can do. This can help you sometimes identify where a leak has occurred, especially if whatever punctured your tire does not remain in the tire. What you'll need is an air chuck and an air compressor, obviously. And I'm gonna make sure the tire's got some air in it. In this case, we've got 30 PSI in this tire. It was low earlier, but I did air it back up. I'm gonna just put a little more air in it. Okay. As long as you've got, 20, 30 PSI in the tire, you've got some air, a higher pressure than atmosphere. And what I would start by doing is liberally spraying some soapy water. This is dish soap and water, and it makes a soapy, bubbly mix. And I would start to just spray all over the tire. And then at this point, you're going to look for something like this, bubbles forming, and that's going to indicate where your leak is. So that is an old timer trick there for locating any sort of air escape from the tire. Now, if you've sprayed the thing down with soap and you're not seeing any sort of obvious leaks, you may not have a puncture to your tire. It could be a leak from your valve stem. It could be a leak around the bead. I've even seen rims crack and leak air slowly. So don't always assume you're going to have a nail or a tire puncture. However, it is a pretty common occurrence. Now that we've identified our puncture, we need to remove the actual item, nail, screw, whatever it is. In this case, it looks like it could be some sort of wire wrapped up. We'll have a good look at that. What I usually do, I'll use a pair of needle nose pliers or vice grips, depending on whatever I'm trying to grip. And I'll carefully grasp the fastener or screw and pull it out like that. Check that out, y'all. I don't know, it looks like a staple or something. It came out in 2 different pieces. So it can be helpful to circle your puncture with some chalk or some type of marking utensil, especially if your eyes aren't that good. Once the tire runs out of air, you may have some difficulty finding it. So just a word of advice. You'll need a tire plug kit, and most tire plug kits include 2 different tools. You've got this pointy tool with the knurling on it. I call this the reamer. And then you've got your little slotted tool for installing the plug itself. So I'm going to start with the reamer. And the purpose of this tool is to clean out this puncture and prepare it for the tire plug. And make sure you found the hole, you're not making a new hole in your tire. And you're gonna carefully push this in. These are run flat tires, so they are stiff. Nice and easy. Ooh, all right, I like it. And I just kind of twist it, pull it out. And the idea is that's gonna just clean up that hole a little bit, scuff up the compound, and make this tire plug seat properly. And then you'll get a fresh tire plug from your stockpile, and you gotta get it into the tool for installation. So what I do, I kind of flatten one end. You may want to wear gloves doing this because these can be a little sticky sometimes. And I start to feed the plug into the tool, kind of like that. Once I got a good start, I take my pliers and I just kind of pull it through. Pliers can be helpful, but if you get enough through, you should just be able to kind of grip it with your fingers and pull it through. All right, I get about halfway like that. Here again, I'm gonna find my hole. And for whatever reason, I like to make sure there's a little air in the tire. That's just my preference. So I'm gonna put some air in this guy. All right, I guess that might just reassure me of being in the right spot. And then here again, just kind of push this through. I like to kind of try to go straight in, like that. Now, you want the ends to still be sticking out. If you push it too far in, you're gonna probably lose your plug. So I like to get it so there's a little bit sticking out still, and then I twist and I pull. And I'm usually left with something that looks like that. Now this kind of looks obnoxious, looks sloppy. When I was younger, I used to trim them with a razor knife very carefully. However, many plugs have been installed, and I have decided it's really not necessary to do that. I've installed these tire plugs and left them just like this, and they seem to just kind of wear in and get settled and have no issues. And then the last step here before we install the tire back onto the vehicle is make sure we are up to the manufacturer recommended tire pressure. And you can look on your door jamb for that. This vehicle calls for 38 PSI cold. It's a cold tire. I haven't driven the vehicle in several hours, so 38 PSI it is. If you want to really see if you've completed the job, you can always spray some soapy water on your area of repair, and it should be like this, no bubbles forming like earlier. So we're ready to get this back on the vehicle, and hopefully this repair will last the remainder of this tire's life, which does not appear to be much longer. I hope everyone enjoyed this video. If it helped you out, leave a comment, like, subscribe. You can always buy me a Bud Light. I'm saving up for that surgery. So until next time, folks, it's Matty O. Thanks for watching, and I'm out.